What's up, y'all? Good morning. What is today? Is it Tuesday? Why do I have to ask that question? What's the deal, y'all? How y'all doing? How was Monday? Mine was slow, which is not necessarily a bad thing considering could have just hit the ground running like usual. But before I go on with my day, I wanted to share some things with you. And I should have made notes because now I feel like it's going out my mind. First, shout out to Dr. G for her intro to activism class. And I know I keep saying that, but like already, if you go to her page, what is it? Sports Crit Cutie? I believe I got that right. Her energy is already off the charts. She's giving real assignments, like real papers to write. I'm working on a paper this week. And because of her assignment, I watched a documentary on the Freedom Riders. And I chose the Freedom Riders because I love me some John Lewis. Rest in heaven, sir. But in watching that hour-plus long documentary, the reality is that he was but a part of that movement, but that there were people way bigger as a part of that movement. And I cried several times throughout the documentary, specifically because, and I've seen people say this on here, that our generation was way too comfortable. And then we raised generations of too comfortable. So I'm a young Xer, right? And my siblings and my oldest daughter are millennials. And then I have 3 Zers. Obviously, my grandson was just born almost 3 years ago. So he would be an alpha. And we have raised people to be comfortable and complacent like us. So if we were thrown into a situation where we were being, like our 14th Amendment rights were totally stripped from us, again, would we have it in us to stand up, to fight? Like, I'd like to believe that I do, but I wasn't raised from that. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm from the rural South. I'm from South Carolina, the first state to secede from the Union before the Civil War. Shout out to the pretty professor. I'm learning. But just thinking about it, like, even living in the midst of that history, I was sheltered from it. Okay? And you got to think, living in the deep country of South Carolina, I was seen as something different, right? I'm actually getting ready to write an essay to submit for publication about this, because our identity, especially when you're young and when you're not surrounded by people that help you to work through this, your identity is tied up in what people think you are and who people think you are, or what they don't, right? And so as a kid, Black folks were like, what are you? I can't tell you how many times and how many variations of what are you, or who you is, what you is. That's it, what you is. So many variations of that question, because my family clearly was African American, but my mama decided to go in the army, and I'm gonna just say have a one night stand with a Filipino man. Here I am. And so I was just thinking about like how we make so many excuses about why we are complacent and comfortable. But the truth is that we are. And I'm watching this documentary and I see Diane Nash, right? Like, I didn't go to an HBCU. I wasn't exposed to this stuff. So I didn't know these people. Like Marion Richardson, I just found out about her through Intro to Resistance. So I am so grateful for Hillman Talk. If y'all are not taking advantage of Hillman Talk, I would encourage you to do so, because where we're headed, if we're anywhere headed where they're trying to take us, we are going to have to get uncomfortable. And we are going to have to step into the mindset and the community and the fight that our ancestors did, and some of our elders that are still with us. So I found out about Diane Nash and how pivotal she was to that movement. Not just the Freedom Riders, but before that, the lunch sit-ins, which is also where John Lewis started. And you look at her, and she could have totally passed as a white woman. And immediately I thought about Imitation of Life, which I need to watch again. Every time I watch it, I cry, y'all, even though I know what's going to happen. But I'm just thinking about like how I fooled myself into thinking I wasn't enough, or I didn't have a right to fight for us. But the foolishness of it is, this is who I am, and this is who I have reproduced in the world. 4 beautiful black women. And now I have a beautiful black, brown grandson. My husbands have been black men. My brother is seen as a black man. If you're standing in an elevator with my brother or my cousins, and you don't know them, you might clutch your purse. Especially when he had his locks. So just thinking about that reality, I just want to encourage y'all to think about this. Are we ready to stand up? Because I feel like, and I said this in my blog reading yesterday, we're in a moment of rest right now, but that does not mean that we get to stay here. At some point, it's going to get to a point we're going to have to jump back in the game. But we're doing it for the right cause, not to be saviors and rescuers of everyone else, but to empower our families, our communities. So I ask you all this question again. Are you ready? And what are you doing to get ready? What are you doing to hone your voice, your skills, your talents, your divine gifts? It's going to take all of us collectively to get it done. And that's the reality of it. How I feel sad thinking about those that already fought this fight that have to come back and fight it again because we were too comfortable. And how annoyed we will be if we have to fight this now, and then we watch the generations after us, before we leave this world by God's blessing, it has to be fought again. History continually repeating itself when we are comfortable and blinded from what it is. A little deep for this early in the morning, but I encourage y'all to think about it. My article that was released today is about marginalization, and I am going to do a video specifically on that and post it on my YouTube, and I will provide snippets of it here and in my Substack. I ask that you would join my Substack. You can join for free, and when I do the live this weekend, I'm going to be letting everyone know what is going to be available on that Substack, especially for my sisters under the Sisters Unbothered, because I'm going to be putting copies of my books that I've written on there for the paid subscribers to be able to read freely, as well as any audio versions that I've done. I'm getting ready to take all of the culmination of the work that I've done over the last few years and put it on that Substack, and then moving forward from there. So I encourage you all to check that out, to join me on Saturday for my first live. And think about it. What are you doing to be ready? Are you ready? Are you willing to be ready? All right. Y'all have a great day. Peace.